The outsourcing markets globally, and even the word outsourcing has come under some discussion whether it's really outsourcing, but the outsourcing markets globally are roughly about $105, $110 billion. And 60% of that is India. So India's share of the global outsourcing market is at about 60%, about $65 billion. And India overweights on the IT piece and is smaller on the rest of the BPO piece. But regardless, a very strong presence and probably a leadership which is unparalleled and is likely to continue. So some of what we look at when we look at some of the changing demographics across all the countries all over the world, what you have really happening is just in terms of availability of talent as well as the knowledge base and with the youth of the workforce. What you have is when you chart a lot of this out, as you all know some of the graphs, what you have is two big bubbles right now, India and China. But when we go and look out over the next 20 years of where that is heading, the China bubble actually goes a little further away and actually starts paralleling some of the European countries and the United States. And that's part of it is driven by discipline. It's the one-child policy, as all of you know, two grandparents, two children, one child at the bottom of that pyramid. And so you're likely to see in about 20 years an aging workforce in China, and India sits as a big bubble. And with that comes some challenges, with that comes some opportunities. You know, people started coming to India initially for cost, but what really has kept folks here is talent, right? No one is interested in just the cost piece, because, you know, if you've got to hire a couple of people for every job in a Western economy, that simply doesn't work. So people might have come for cost, but they're staying for talent. And while there have been situations where an entire talent pool is now available over here, what you really have is a low-cost country, but with expensive workers. That's where it's heading. And when you add up some of the costs, and you know, the last job before Hewitt, I was with MCI Verizon, again in the States, and we would outsource to 15 countries. And we had a capability of doing a 3-month transition to any of those 15 countries. We just had everything set up. You could in 3 months, and any American, European, any company is fairly mercenary about it, and so are we. So if we wanted customer service, some good language skills, we went to the Philippines. If we wanted time zone, we'd go straight down to Costa Rica, Argentina. We wanted nearshoring in Europe. We went off to some of the Eastern European countries. And there was India as well, but it was just one out of a bunch of other possibilities. So this is not with 60% of the global market. You kind of, you know, our workforce as well kind of starts taking some of these things for granted, and some of the attrition. When I came out here last year, when I looked at all our stakeholders, customers, the first thing on everyone's mind was attrition. Nothing more up the value chain unless you get your attrition under control, because it was just constantly killing you and train the frontline folks. So there's some real pressures, and then without infrastructure, once you're doing your own water, once you're doing your own electricity, once you're doing your own transport, once you're catering to all the food, it actually takes away from the employees. So if you can hire someone for $12,000 or $13,000, and if you spend $10,000 in putting a roof over their head during work hours,